Hi, Jessica here for MyTransgenderNation. Welcome back. Today I have an interview with Angelus Perez. And Angelus is a communication strategist utilizing mindset coaching and training techniques. Using the mindset of communication management, he shows leaders and small business owners how to set management duties so they can achieve more ambitious profit and impact their goals. Angelus has worked with me and my company for a while, and he has helped me greatly with my mindset over the years, both professionally and personally. I am very excited to have this interview, so let's get started. So, mindset is such a big piece of trying to transition. And if you don't have the right mindset, you're going to sit in a hamster wheel and go nowhere. So welcome, Angelus. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Jessica, for having me here. It's an honor and a pleasure. And thanks for that kind introduction. And I just wanted to say my major focus for my business, and I'm a consultant, trainer / coach, is dealing with the tools of mindset and NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So many of my clients are high-end clients, the Fortune 500 clients even, and these are the people who you think they're doing really well. Why would they need any coaching? Well, they're doing very well because they have coaches, and I'm glad to be one of them. So if you want to succeed, get to that next level, it behooves you to find a coach locally or on the other side of the world even. I have some that I'm other parts of the planet. So thank you for having us here, and let me see if I can serve you best.
Absolutely. So let's talk about, those of us who are maybe at the beginning of their transition, or they're in their transition and they're just sitting there and they know they don't have the right mindset. So maybe you could tell us maybe a little background first about mindset and how you get, what you do for a mindset, and then how these people could possibly work on their mindset.
Well, first you have to understand the mechanics, the science behind what is a mindset. Mindset is simply an old program working in the background, and it works very well because you are functioning in society, you're paying your bills, you are socializing, you're doing your hobbies, all kinds of stuff. And that's because these programs have been put in you as a child, as you grew up. So it's like a computer. You have working, software in it, an operational software that makes it run and do all the things that it does. It seems like magic. That's the good part. The bad part is if you make a change, if you desire, want, need to go a different direction than the program was made for, the program works very well, and it will fight you, it will taunt you, it will torture you, it will lie to you, and it will do everything it can to keep you from hurting yourself because you're trying to function that computer outside the operational, software that it was built for. So what do you do with a computer? You put in new software, take out the old software, and you could do something with the computer that it wasn't doing before. That's how simple it is with a computer. Human beings, it's technically that simple too, but the process is a little more long-winded. It takes more time because the human mind does not want to be reprogrammed. It's content repeating the past for eternity if you live that long. So understand, a mindset is nothing but an old program running in the background without you knowing. And that's how you can tie your shoe, get up in the morning, brush your teeth, go to work, sometimes forgetting how you got there on autopilot. That's the mindset. You don't have to consciously 24/7, every second, think about every little thing. It's crazy. So the mindset is simply something from the past, and now it serves you. Now you want to change something in the future. Well, you got to change the software. It's simple math, physics. You don't change something, you don't get a new result. A lot of people, it doesn't matter what you're in, what culture you're in, what's your philosophy, your religion or background. They try to do one thing new with the old way of doing it. And they keep wondering why their life is hell or suffering or it's bad luck. It's like, no, it's your mind working perfectly. You set it to work against you in case you should go in the wrong direction. So my job now, people call me, is show me how to get my mind to change directions. Okay. let's get going. Does that help?
Sounds like a lot of what you've told me in the past. So I think it definitely does help. So for somebody who's just getting started in their transition, and they're sitting there saying, "I can't do this. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not pretty enough. Nobody's going to consider me to be female. I'm just a guy wearing a wig. I'm just a guy in a dress. I'm too fat. I'm too short. I'm too this. I'm too that." And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to be the girl that I want to be." Now, first of all, we want to just smack them in the head and say, "Hey, no, that's not true. You can do it." But I honestly believe for myself that the biggest key to me getting from where I was to where I am now is all up here. It had nothing to do with how my hair looked. It's nothing to do with how big my boobs were or anything else. As important as those things were to me to make adjustments with, those weren't the key for me getting from where I was to where I am now.
That makes perfect sense. For transgender community, since I'm not transgender, you got to forgive me. I have to.
It's quite okay. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. So
I need to put myself in your shoe and think, what are the basic issues dealing from the beginning when you go on this journey? And the only thing is see, and it's going to sound like a contradiction in terms against logic, but here goes. The mindset problem most transgenders have in the beginning that I've noticed is the common thing is self-esteem.
Okay? That's a big one.
If you don't, your business, finance, social life, you name it, doesn't matter what facet of your lifestyle you pick, you can only go as far as your self-esteem allows you. So in other words, if your self-esteem is say here, let me get my hand up, and you want to be here, you can't reach that with that self-esteem. That program is telling you, like, Jessica said, I'm to this, I'm to that. Excuses of what you can't do instead of what you could do. Now, just back a little bit about the physics of your mind. Your mind can only focus on one thing at a time, even though it could do a trillion calculations on a subatomic level to the neurons of your brain and the body. It can only do one focus at a time, meaning if you put words into the mind, you watch certain TV, you read certain news papers and read certain magazines, certain YouTube channels, whatever, Facebook, social media. If the focus is one topic, the mind only focuses on that one topic. And the brilliant way the mind is created is that it takes in what it sees and then attempts to amplify it and project it out to the world. So in other words, it's like a big Xerox copy machine, but it enlarges. So if you're focused on, I can't do it, I'm to this, I'm to that, on a negative level, the mind only focuses on that. It doesn't judge. That's the great part, right? It doesn't care about your religion, your transgenderness, your opinions, logic. It doesn't care about philosophy or politics and nothing like that, religion. It's simply like a genie that does exactly what the master you tell it to do. So these words, it's the first thing you need to do to subdue this monster called low self-esteem. So it doesn't matter if you think you're to this, to that. Those are thoughts that have to be put aside. The mind can only focus and create new potentiality, new prospects, new potential, wonderful futures by what you think now. What you are right now is the process of all the thoughts you had in the past. If you keep thinking these thoughts right now of the past, you're going to have the same future. So what we need to do is get yourself from a low self-esteem to a higher self-esteem by simply playing around with new words and be repetitious with it, like the alphabet. I know people who could say the alphabet backwards, and I asked them, why did you even bother learning the alphabet backwards? And I said, you know how hard that is? And they go, well, you got a poor mindset. And I said, what do you mean by that? I said, it's no harder backwards than it was forwards, because we learned it A, B, C, D, E, F, G, because we kept repeating it when we were younger.
Right.
At some point, it clicked. And he said, as a hobby. He did it backwards. And then at some point it clicked. He doesn't know how not to say it backwards now. So it's the same thing. You have to say to yourself with new words so that your mind can accept it. Because if I know people, transgender individuals come to me, my mind says, I don't believe that. I go, because you're saying a lie. Like, I am pretty when I don't think I am. Well, I am slender when I think I'm fat. Don't lie to your mind. It doesn't work. You say, but I can be prettier. What if I could be prettier? I have the potential to be prettier, slender, this, that, big, but whatever. You fill in the blank.
So along those lines, the idea of, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So you don't want to take the whole thing all at once. You want to take snippets of it and work at it so that eventually you get to your end result. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And there's no other way to do it. Unfortunately, people think there is, and they just basically forgot your basic elementary school work. Everything we learned by repetition. Sorry, everything. People don't believe that. I said, well, go learn a new skill set. How many times you got to fail before it clicks? How many times you screwed up before it makes sense? Everything is learned by repetition. This is no different. The great thing is your brain, your mind is already built to use this tool of repetition. So start off with a few small words. I would say, write down half a dozen to a dozen words that you keep hearing yourself repeat that are negative. And then find the opposite of that, or what you would like it to be representing you. I like to be 50 pounds less weight. I want to be more slender. I want to have a better hair, or better this, or better. You have to see yourself there first. Every athlete in the world, especially those who are Olympic athletes. I'm a motorcycle driver, and they tell me the same thing. Look at where you're going to be and then turn the bike towards that. Do not look in front of you. Look towards where you want to be, and the bike will follow. The athletes are the same way. They see themselves winning the game. They practice in their mind over and over winning the game, even though they may be the night before the game. They may be in bed, in the shower, on the front lines. They're ready to start, but they haven't done it. They see themselves over and over in their mind finishing the game. So the mind starts to focus. All right, so the only thing I'm supposed to do is win the game. That's what the guides focus on. That's what I'm going to do. So the same thing is true with you. Whatever it is, to get your self-esteem level up, change some words, some verbiage, listen to other people. Stop listening to negative people. Go to YouTube, go to other social medias, and talk and listen to people who are already at the level you want to be. Go find the hero. Not a hero, the hero in you, the person you want to be that will impress the hell out of you. They're already out there. Find them, emulate their mannerism, emulate their posture, emulate the tonality, their verbiage. At some point, if you keep doing it, and I mean short period of time, some people do it in hours, a few days, top a week, a few weeks to a month and a half. Now people say that's a long time. I go, a long time. How long have you been saying no? I'm to this, I'm to that, to that. That's a short period compared to, you do it, it changes, you change, you now become the hero of your mind, and that's for the rest of your life. You can't undo it unless you do the same process all over to go back to a negative mindset. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. That's for sure.
It's all about self-esteem is the biggest thing. Work on that first before anything else, and then everything starts becoming much easier, because if you can't look in the mirror, and here's what I mean by counterintuitive. You look in the mirror and say you're a man who knows you're a woman, or vice versa. You look in the mirror, it's like, that's not me. I said, I would say, perhaps not, but still love it, still adore it, still respect it, and then see its potential. Because everything that is important, a little tree, a giant redwood tree I've seen in California, they started from a seed, a sapling, which doesn't resemble its full parent. We don't resemble what we are when we start out, but you still love the baby, you still love the child, and then respect that baby, that child. because it's now it's going to turn into from an ugly duckling, and all ugly ducklings, even though they're ugly, so they say, they're lovable. They're going to turn into this beautiful swan, but they have to respect the ugly duckling and then focus on the swan. Those are the only two things that you should be playing around with constantly. And then look in the mirror. And then I've had transgender people say, they'll take that advice, like look in the mirror, stop judging who they are, and say, yeah, I don't like the way you look, but I still love you. You're still okay. You're still going to make it. And they said they saw or felt and experienced a profound change in a short period of time. Then they were able to look in the mirror and go, yeah, there's my ugly duckling, but no, wait a minute, I'm not ugly duckling. I can still improve myself, and that's what I want to improve. So they stopped using the word whatever, the negative words. And then all of a sudden they look in the mirror, instead of seeing who they are, they see who they wish to be. I mean, I've seen people say, it's really weird. Am I going insane, Angelus? I look in the mirror and all of a sudden I see someone else looking back at me that's not me. I said, is it a negative self or a positive self? Oh no, it's like my future self. And then I come back to the present, and I'm who I am now. It's like weird. I go, you're there. You've done it. That's what it's all about. The mind is beginning to not know the difference between your future and your present self. It just focuses on getting you to the finish line.
That's where they all and I all wanted to go for me, and where they want to go for sure. Yeah, it's individual steps that you need to worry about taking, instead of looking at this entire staircase and saying, how am I going to climb the staircase? Don't do that. Take each step, one step at a time. Take little bites out of it. You'll be surprised. I remember when I first started my transition, when I first got going, I hadn't had any surgeries yet. I'm new to hormones. My body hasn't changed a lot. I've got a wig on, and so much in the beginning, it's like, am I going to get misgendered? Do they see the guy wearing the wig, or do they see a woman? And somewhere along the line, I finally, got over the idea of worrying about what they were thinking, and that I was a woman no matter what they thought. Exactly. And I honestly believe that what was coming back from them changed when I changed.
Sure. Of course, because it doesn't matter, because people have their opinions of you no matter what you are. So if we get stuck on what we think they're thinking, let's put it this way. You're absolutely right. 100% right. Because it's not just you changing your perception and then changing your world outside. People pick that up. If you are an insecure person, people pick that up. If you doubt your transgenderness, whatever it is, people pick that up. And at some point, it's a contradiction in term. You're not authentic. You are a hypocrite. You say you feel like this, but you're acting like that. If you think you're a woman, act like a woman. Doesn't matter what your body looks like. If you think you're a man, act like a man. Doesn't matter what your body looks like. People pick that up and start changing that. Because that's when I know this for a fact, because I've been with cross-gender individuals, and I'm like, well, so what are you? I'm a woman. Wow. I like inside I can feel that they don't believe what they just told me.
Right. And so they're not projecting a woman, they're projecting a man, basically.
Pretending.
Right?
Yeah, instead of being. That's the point. They're not being in their mind, and I pick that up, and then I have trouble seeing them the way they tell me they supposedly see themselves, because I'm picking up something totally different. Yeah. So that is very, very important. Be that person. It doesn't matter if you're not that person yet. Be that person in your mind. People automatically start reacting to it on a positive level.
Which will also help you to,
Of course.
To help your mindset if you're feeling like you're getting back what you want to see, definitely.
Yeah. And that's the contradiction again, because we have to feel it first before we get it. Most people think they have to get it to feel it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way. No, definitely does not. I can say from experience, it does not work that way.
No, it never does. And
it starts here.
Of course. And Jessica, I've seen you in the beginning, not the beginning of your transgender journey, but I've seen you in the beginning of very basic mindsets. That you have come a long way. And this this interview is an example of that. You couldn't, this is not you when I first met you. This is not even it wasn't even an idea maybe, or not even considered. And now you're going out doing things that, I'm like, wow, I would have lost the bet on that, because your mindset has progressed so much. You now have a mindset of, what else can I do to improve myself? As opposed to, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough. And so kudos to you.
Thank you very much. No, I can't tell you how much, the training and the guidance that you and Kim have both given me along those lines have helped me in my personal world and my business world. Angelus, thank you so much to taking the time today to go through this. This has been great. I hope we get a chance to do another interview in the not too distant future. I would love to go down the path of talking about, the quantum field. And because we were bringing that in, we weren't really defining it, but we were bringing that in a little bit to what we were talking about, and maybe having another subsequent conversation about how that plays into all this. So, but again, thank you so much for being here today. Everybody out there, thank you for joining us. I hope this helps one or all of you. Take this advice. This is really, really good stuff. I can't stress enough how much it's made a difference in my world. For MyTransgenderNation, this is Jessica. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel. Tell all your friends. Let's have a great 2023. And please don't forget to send some ideas on future ideas for recordings. Everybody, have a great holiday season, and thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.